The NARBC with the most infamous reptile shipping company in the game, real OG, Chad Brown. What's up, buddy?
What's up, my man?
Happy Tinley.
Happy Tinley to you. This is cool, man. I just don't say I'm the OG. My shirt says we're the OGs.
That's what makes it official. Be honest, man. We're talking legendary keepers in the game who choose you guys over anyone else. How does that feel?
It feels great. It feels great. Do your best as a company to, put your passion into what you do.
Right.
Then you meet up with other folks who all have their passion in whatever space of the hobby that they're in, and they choose you. It's very flattering. It's humbling. I don't take it lightly. My staff doesn't take it very lightly. We're very dedicated and serious to upholding the standards and the level of service that those kind of folks who are going to be on the show a little bit later that they expect and they demand.
How do you guys determine to stay on top and just stay a bit ahead of the curve? I mean, how are you to limit keeping you guys separate from the competition?
I mean, there's always going to be competition.
Right.
And in the end, my head's got to be down, focused on us and what we do. Service that we deliver to our customers.
Right.
So my customer service staff, they recognize that they are the difference. For the most part, everyone in this industry uses FedEx as a shipping partner.
Right.
So we are all selling FedEx labels.
Right.
But in the end, the customer service that we provide, I think is what sets us apart. These personal relationships that my staff is able to make with vendors and shippers all around the country, I think that's one of the big differences. Also, we being the OG, no one has more experience than what we have.
Right.
No one has stronger ties to FedEx. No one has a longer relationship to FedEx than we do. So the long track record of experience, you couple that with the passion and dedication, you couple that with high level of customer service, you couple that with the biggest team, the most experienced team in the business, it'd be really silly to go someplace else.
Team is everything, right? You know that being an ex-NFL player. I mean, talks of you going to the Hall of Fame. Is that in the works? What's going on with that?
All right, so this was the first year that I was officially nominated to the NFL Hall of Fame.
Wow.
So, talk about humbling. The fact that I've been nominated, I've had some conversations with some folks who are involved in the voting process.
A lot of people fly into this show, but a lot of people don't know that if you buy an animal here at the show, we could send it to you.
Absolutely.
And tell us how that works.
It's pretty simple. The bigger destination shows. Some of the shows are more regional shows. Folks just kind of drive in. But this show, Tinley Park in the fall, Daytona, are shows where folks actually fly into the show from across the country. And they want to go around and be able to buy animals, whether they're buying animals to supply their pet store or they're buying animals for their own personal collection. How do I get these back? You come to the Ship Your Reptiles booth, we've got everything you could possibly need. We've got the boxes, the snake bags, the deli cups, the heat packs, the cold packs, the face packs, everything you need. And then we can process your label right here at our table. And then on Monday morning, I'll meet the FedEx truck here at the show, and they'll be delivered to you on Tuesday morning. So we try to make this process as seamless as possible. We've been doing this for years and years and years, vending from the shows, selling shipping at the shows for the purpose of getting animals that are purchased at the show home to their customers.
One of the biggest things I hate to see people go through is a shipping error. Advice for anyone out there shipping for the first time.
It's a daunting process. I understand everyone who's got a little fear about this process. You have taken this baby that you've hatched, that you put all your passion and love into, and now you got to send it out and stick it in a box and trust somebody else to deliver that. Number one killer of reptiles in the shipping process is improper heat packing. So everyone assumes, well, it's a reptile. They like it hot. So let's take a heat pack and put it right next to the animal. The heat pack's going to spike about 140, 160 degrees.
Right.
That's going to be hot enough to kill your animal.
Easily.
Easy. So if you get a ball python, you put it in a deli cup, and you put that deli cup right on top of your heat pack, you've cooked your ball python within 3 or 4 hours. So I see you rolling your eyes because it sucks. It sucks.
But for the most part, they don't know better. They think they're doing the right thing, especially when it's a little nipply outside, right?
Yeah. So as they say, the road to hell is paved with good intentions. Good intentions,
right?
Their thought process, their thinking is good, but in the end, those good intentions end up hurting the animal. Proper heat pack use is number one. There's definitely tons of FAQs on our site where you can read about proper heat pack use. We've got some videos we'll be putting out shortly that I filmed about a month ago that will be discussing heat pack use. After that, pay attention to the weather parameters.
As far as international shipping, how does that work with Ship Your Reptiles?
All right, so international shipping is a tough nut to crack. There's lots of paperwork. Right. There's usually about somewhere between $800 and $1,000 just in paperwork alone, not even including the shipping costs.
Wow.
So the export thing is very expensive. Okay. So typically what you want to do is you want to get included in a large export where there's lots of animals. So it brings the cost per animal down on the shipping.
I don't know how much you've heard about this going on, recession, right? People not selling stuff and people going through some sort of a slump right now. I mean, are you seeing any kind of decline in ball pythons being shipped?
Decline is an odd word because I think if you compare today's market to what was happening during COVID when people were getting stimulus checks, the market has changed considerably. So numbers are down.
I have a wrap-up question for Chad before we let our first guest sit down with them. And man, this guy dressed a profession. For anyone out there curious, wondering what your true attachment is to the animals, what was it with you? Tell me a little bit what you used to do herping-wise in LA County.
Right.
So let's talk about, tell us a little bit breakdown with that.
All right, so I grew up in Southern California, but I grew up in the Pasadena area, the Altadena area, which, you know, is bordered by all these hillsides. So I could go in my backyard and I could catch California king snakes, garter snakes, all types of fence lizards, alligator lizards, frogs, toads of various types, salamanders.
Right.
So this was all part of my backyard, my growing up experience.
Right.
So I grew up in California, a city boy, but also kind of grew up a little bit of a country boy at the same time.
Okay.
So I got to the University of Colorado. I was out of my mom's house. My mom said no snakes in the house, like a lot of moms.
Just all moms. Shout out to the moms, man.
Which is interesting because for my 12th birthday, my mom bought me a Mexican red-knee tarantula. So tarantulas were okay, but snakes were not. At any rate,
funny how that works.
Yeah, I met a friend in the dorms at the University of Colorado who had a boa for sale.
Right.
That was my first real reptile that I had caught out in the wild. Then I met Cameron DePedlin from Bushmaster Reptiles at a local pet store there in Boulder, Colorado, where the University of Colorado is.
Right.
And Cameron was great, invited me to his house, had a chance to meet him, see the snakes that he was breeding in his extra bedroom, in his basement, in his backyard. I was like, oh my gosh, this is a whole brand new world to me. This is mind-blowing. As a scholarship athlete, you're not allowed to have a job during the school year.
Right.
So I thought, ooh, let me pair up these animals and sell the babies, and I can make some money, and the NCAA will never know. So I started pairing up my animals. I paired up my leopard geckos. I paired up my California king snakes. I paired up my boas. And every spring I would produce animals, and I would sell them to local pet stores in Boulder. I would sell them to local students on campus. I would put a few $1,000s in my pocket for a college student. I thought I was like the king of the planet. Wow. And that's kind of where this whole thing got started. So that's where the passion and the growth came from. Then once I got in the NFL, I had some money in my pocket. I built Pro Exotics Reptiles. Right. And we grew to be one of the largest producers of captive bred reptiles on the planet.
Sitting down with Chad next, we have Garrett Hartle from Reach Out Reptiles. Let's go, Garrett Hartle.
There you go. Yeah, we get the top, but I don't know if we get the...
You're not going to get the pants, but the pants is the best part. Wow.
For those who know what snake bags are, Garrett has crafted pants out of Ship Your Reptile snake bags. The ingenuity, the dedication to the role is off the charts. 24 hours. You only got what, about 4 or 5 hours left?
A couple hours left. We're right there at the end.
Garrett, I won't call them stunts because stunts imply something corny.
I mean, this is pretty corny, honestly. Come on now.
But the quirky things you are willing to do to raise awareness for your company, to raise money for USR.
Sure.
At the Anaheim show, was it last year? I think it was last year. You started off with an isopod
that I caught in my sister's backyard.
Caught in your sister's backyard that ended up generating, I think I paid $7,000 for the set of ball pythons, for the pair of ball pythons.
We traded up to pretty much one of the more expensive pair of ball pythons in the show.
How many trades did it take to get to that?
Like 16 or 18 trades.
Okay, yeah, so from an isopod to triple het pair of ball pythons, I think one of them exhibited some visual trait as well. Strange hobby because, you know, we take shipping incredibly serious. Passion, it's how we make money. It's how we help our customers. We want to be our customers' business partner. At the same time, you know, we have fun shirts, you know, snakes on planes. The super door segment of the hobby that you have come to almost originate and then dominate. Where did the passion for that come from?
Well, it's funny. I've always loved reptiles. I was in one of those families where my mom hated snakes, so I was never allowed to have any. So I'd catch whatever I could outside and hide it from her as long as I could.
Right.
And I ended up getting the very first exotic snake I had was like a carpet python, and it opened the floodgates. I was like, Mom, Christmas, birthday for the rest of my life, and I'll buy it myself. Just let me have one.
Right.
So I think it was an IJ. And then shortly after that, my second snake was a Jampea, which they were importing them back then. It was pretty cheap. And I don't know. It's just all been retics. I've loved everything else, but it's that species I kept circling back around to. You know, you're like, try this, try this, try this, try this. And then after a while, you have something, you're like, I like this guy, but it's not a super dwarf or a dwarf retic. You may remember the import of Kiowatis.
Yes.
It was
I was going to ask the question. Yes.
That was one of the first like known locality super dwarfs brought into the country. And you had those. We ended up getting some snakes from those, and I still have today because I had bred them, produced, sold them off, but I always keep in contact with everyone. I love seeing my like snake grandbabies and all
Right.
that. So we circle back around. I still have stuff that's like 25% from that bloodline, 50% from that bloodline.
Long-standing source of pride for me has been when stories like that come up, when an animal that has passed through my hands has gone to someone else, whether it was an animal that I bought and thought, well, this is really cool and I'll sell it to somebody, or I bred myself, and to see bloodlines that were in my hands continue to live on. I was just talking to MJ how humbling that is.
Like, you connect with people in this industry at some point, somehow, for some reason. And then you see their love, dedication, and passion and stuff. And then it becomes infectious. So like, I loved Pro Exotics. I like the Jamaican theme. A lot of my family's actually Jamaican and stuff. They got those like Rasta colors on everything. I still got my like old school temp gun. I still have one at the show over here for sale. All the stuff that I hadn't had when you were into the crazy striped red blood pythons. You were doing all the water monitors back then, kind of like beefing them up for everybody. Everything that you guys were working with, even like, I never did the Thai bamboo rat snakes or anything, but those more obscure colubrids have kind of translated now into these African house snakes for me.
Which I'm so jealous of.
Yeah.
Because that was one of the projects I wanted to take on that I couldn't get agreement within the company to do. So it's kind of fun to live vicariously through you. So we're probably 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Where, our paths crossed somewhere with the Kaiwati Boutiques, and now you're a customer.
Right.
And now we're still partners in some way.
And we're shipping Kiowatis that descended from your stuff with your labels on.
Are you kidding? I mean, how awesome is that?
No,
Are you
it's
kidding
really
me?
cool. So the beautiful thing about it is some of the most fun conversations I have is where you've connected really deep with somebody on a reptile level, and then you step back and you go, wait, you play for the NFL? No way. You know what I mean?
Right, we're just reptile dudes vibing on reptile stuff.
I'm a steel industry guy, you know what I mean, from Pittsburgh or whatever. Like, what the heck, Yeah, and so it could be like businessmen and total degenerates and, like just everybody from all over the place.
All right, so I would be remiss if I let you get away without returning your kind words to me with some kind words to you. There's all kind of people come through this hobby over time and over the years. But there's people who make it better for everybody else. And you're one of those dudes. So,
Thanks,
take that. It's a real thing, man.
I
Thank
appreciate
you.
you.
Yep.
Monitors in the building.
Yeah. Well, I got a sulfur water monitor I just hatched. This is the first, well, it's not the second clutch I hatched, but I just wanted to bring it over here and say hi to Chad and stop in and say hi to everybody. Mike Stefani, Mike's Monitors, and look at that.
Ship your reptiles,
The
baby.
best shippers around, man. You know it.
This,
Yeah, there you go, man.
nice sulfur right here.
I've been hearing you wanting one for your office, so I figured I'd bring a teaser over for you.
This brings me back to the days when we used to, do water monitors. We would buy them wholesale and then polish them up, tame them up. We got them to the point where we could clap and they would come, and we would whistle. And they knew to expect food. Some of the most intelligent reptiles in the hobby. Happening over there at Mike's Monitors. I think you had a female digging down on social media like the other day.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. I had just gotten her clutch. That was Bumblebee, which is my best sulfur, and so that was her second clutch. So her first clutch actually hatched 2 days ago before the show, and I have to sell these, so I didn't bring them, but those are smokers. Varanus mertensi, Mertens monitors, I've hatched out. Coming Eye monitors, I've done all the Audatrias, tree monitors back in the day, if you remember that. Peach throats, everything I've had some good success with. I kind of click with these animals. And, we've been doing this a long time. And back then, we were learning all this stuff. Setup that I've kind of developed over the last few years for these types of animals. It's a bare water bottom, and that gives them their security. A real simple setup with a cork tube, a bunch of holes drilled in there. So you can always monitor your new baby, and you don't have to tear apart his enclosure to get him and scare him. So we're engaging that brain, and we're showing them that you're not a threat, and he has all his safety and husbandry covered. Makes them settle in, because as babies, they're afraid of everything. Everything wants to eat them, and they know that.
I think the water monitor thing has evolved from keeping water monitors to now understanding the inner life, the brain of the water monitor.
They're all individuals, like you said. They all have their own little personalities and clicks, highly intelligent animals. And when you engage that part of their brain, you can really become socially together with them. Like going back, I can remember to put them in Coke case boxes. You can't do that no
Right.
more.
Thank you.
So when
I'm not doing that.
when I actually started shipping, and I went with your company from the beginning, and man, I'm not going nowhere. And, you know, there's no reason to. So I really appreciate what you guys do for me and my animals. I make money. My wife likes me to make money. I don't care about money.
Right.
I care about my animals and people who are getting them.
Thank you for the kind words. Thank you for sharing your passion with us.
No
Good stuff,
problem,
man.
Chad. Always, always, brother.
Give it up
Thank
for
you.
Uncle Mike Stefani, ladies and gentlemen.
Hi, guys.
Oh,
What's
man.
up, brother? What's up, man?
We just were chopping it up last night.
Absolutely, we
Yeah.
were.
Now you are the ball python guy,
Nice.
which drives most of the hobby.
I've worked with reptiles for over 30 years. It's been a long time, but like when I started to get more serious about it and serious about doing it as a business model, I say that a lot of people don't like it, but it's just a fact. You know, 2016 is when I drew up my plans. 2021 was outstanding, and 2022 was our best year ever, and we're on pace to probably triple that this year. So it's just been incredible.
You know, I think a lot of folks get into the hobby and assume it's just going to be incredibly easy,
Yeah.
and the hobby's going to lay down in front of them.
I had bought this new incubator, and you know, 2 clutches would hatch just fine. The third one would have fully developed babies in the egg, just dead. You know, then another one would hatch fine, then 2 in a row. You know, most of it was full clutches. Turned out the problem was the false wall in the incubator in the back was too close to the back. Didn't give the fans enough room, and it was blasting superheated air. We figured out the problem. And then the next year we had 100% hatch rate. This year we had 100% hatch rate. You know, so it's, you know, of good eggs that went in the incubator. You know,
Right.
I mean, you got to throw away a few slugs or feed them to the rats anyway. The rats like them.
You're a smart dude. You're a savvy dude. Obviously, you know there's choices out there.
Yeah.
So we, as a company, are just humbled that you would entrust us with these animals that you are now getting 100% hatch rate, which is amazing. Getting those, using us to ship them to your customers.
Yeah, man. Well, I mean, I appreciate the care that you guys give. I can honestly say that I have not gotten the type of service from really any company within the entire realm of the industry that I've gotten from Ship Your Reptiles. And I mean, I'm incredibly loyal, you know, and I feel like loyalty has its privileges. And you guys have taken care of me, and I've taken care of you guys. You know, I feel like, you know, it just clicks. And, you know, when you've got a company that you work with that works so well, there's just no reason to complicate things. You know, I'm the world's worst at complicating things sometimes. And, you know, there's no need to, you know, I'm a Southern guy, and I always say, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Look forward to the auction tonight. Let's raise a ton of money for US Art, because without them, we wouldn't be doing what we're doing. You know that. I know that. I can't stand when people don't support US Art. Come out tonight, if, you know, and trying to get everybody out to do the auction, and let's go overpay for some stuff.
Absolutely. So I will see you at the auction. Thanks for being on the podcast, man.
Hey, thank you
Good
so
rest
much.
of the show to you.
Final one-on-one for this Tinley episode. But before we bring him on, man, I mean, what's your overall appreciation for the ball python community?
Drives this space.
Right.
You know, the caging and rack manufacturers wouldn't be there wouldn't be the diversity, there wouldn't be the number of folks in that business without ball python folks.
Without further ado, the man behind Canova, the man behind Clutch. Here we have, to wrap it up, Justin Kabelka.
So you and I were over at your table a little while ago, and I was lamenting that the 2 shy guys have to play these roles on social media. I've watched some of your first videos that you did back when you were a teenager. Look like you're in your bedroom.
Yes.
Yes. So take me from that dude into where you are today, the different phases of personal growth, not business growth, but the
Right.
personal growth.
Wow. So that original video that you're thinking about was in my dorm room in boarding school in Oklahoma. So the dorm was nice enough to say, listen, you have this obsession. We'll give you a little space. We had an empty room next to mine. We didn't have that many students that year. And so they said, you can fill it full of animals. Of course, I pushed it way too far to bring in rattlesnakes from outside. I would literally go out every day, have this route around campus and look for animals I could bring into my little room. It was amazing. But that was me. Then I started doing YouTube probably 4 or 5 years later. And the great thing about YouTube is that, yes, I'm a shy person, but nobody was watching.
Right.
So, you know, I did 100+ videos with nobody watching. And then I started to get a little more comfortable with it. And now I'm pretty, I mean, I do okay. It's not my normal way of being, but I've learned to learn skill, I see you're putting yourself out there a lot more lately too.
Well, yeah. Well, there's not only the social media from a reptile perspective, but I do broadcasting.
Correct.
And so some of my friends from back home are like, I would have never, ever pictured you doing this. It's like, well, you cast 100 football games, just like you did your 100 YouTube videos. The rhythm, the lingo, you get up to speed with it, you gain a sense of comfort. So my very, very first game on ESPN. Everyone who's watched a football game knows that the open, the two broadcasters are kind of shoulder to shoulder, and they're going to talk about and set the scene for the game. So my partner has been doing this for 30 years by this point, a very famous broadcaster by the name of Joel Myers. And they hand me the ESPN microphone, and it's got that ESPN thing around it. And up until that point, I have been able to keep my cool about myself. I look down, and instantly the sweat starts pouring down my body. And I'm so happy I've got a suit on because no one can see. I can feel my throat starting to tighten up. So the producer in the truck says, okay, we're going to do rehearsal. We do the rehearsal. As soon as it's over, Joel Myers turns to me and says, hey, man, you got to slow down and get control of yourself. I'm like, Joe, I'm so nervous. I don't know what to do with myself. So we end up doing a couple more rehearsals. I get a little bit better. The final rehearsal, Joel Myers and Clay Brown. And I'm like, who the hell is Clay? So that was enough to break the ice for me to get able to be able to do my first live open.
You probably did it on purpose. I didn't know what it would take, but I knew that I would become whatever it took. I have to be outgoing. I'll be outgoing. Maybe not in my private life, but in that moment I'll be outgoing. If I needed to be more analytical about my pairings, then I'll become more analytical because that's how much I was committed to the cause of my dreams.
Reptile business, I've always said, is a great business training school, particularly if you start off very small, as almost everybody in the hobby does. You have to be in the production of the animals, production of the feeders in some way. You've got to run the back office, the financing, the accounting of it all. But you also have to become a marketer. You have to sell your animals. And so all the different segments of business that people go to business school to become a marketing major or an accounting major or a major in production or something. We learn all those skills in the reptile business. And from afar, it's always felt like you've mastered each step along the way.
I've read lots of books at every step. Whenever I find myself out of my depth, first of all, I do is I just plunge in and just be like, listen, everybody's trying. I'm just going to try, and then where is it not working? Where is it is working? What can I learn from other industries? And just read a lot, listen to audiobooks. The great thing about snakes is that you have all this time on your hands cleaning cages.
The reptile industry has been the school of hard knocks in some way. Because of all those segments you're forced to master, because of the ups and downs, because of the hard times, the incubator malfunctions, the fire at my facility. How do you
selling
evolve
a product that most people are afraid of.
Right.
Talking about like a difficult audience. I mean, I know we're preaching to the choir sometimes when it comes to the reptile industry, but you have to explain to somebody why they should care about the species. Train them how to take care of it. Hopefully, kind of guide their success. And in my case, you not only have to try what species, but what genes that you care about. And it's there's a lot of part where you're just customer education, which I think a lot of businesses don't have that. They just go into a segment like, I'm going to join a pizza franchise where everybody loves pizza.
And everybody knows how to eat pizza. Right, but we have to train our customers in how to be successful in this hobby that they're giving us money for.
Right, and in a way, we're going to have to train them in a way to do what we do and be our own competitors. Right. How can we teach them how to ship their animals successfully with Ship Your Reptiles? How can we teach them how to successfully, find their own customers and everything? And it's like this really interesting synergy. It's a very unique business.
So everybody knows you as the king of the ball python world, but you've got a new venture going as well.
Clutch, which fits right in hand. It's basically the same thing we're talking about, how I was trying to be whatever I had to be to be successful. When we came across this wall, up against this wall, we have a great staff, a great team that can over like the best. And it's taken a lot of years to get there, to find those people. And we kind of came to a place where, okay, we have a great staff, but all the knowledge is here. And okay, well, they're incredibly smart, but they don't have the tools. And so we started working with the company to build an internal tool for Canova, which is the full collection management. It puts everything I know about all the histories of the animals and all the genealogies and lineages and the morphs and what to look for, puts it all into a program for my staff. That's why we did it. But then as it started to get good, I was like, this is going to be actually huge for everybody. I'm super excited about it. We're just launched a month ago. So
It's awesome. You know, the evolution of your company, which I followed from the very beginning to where you are now, it goes to literally demonstrate your ability to master the next thing up. You know, to do the research, figure it out, you know, plan it, market it, release it, follow up customer service of it all. It's been a pleasure to watch you grow your company.
Thank you. It's an amazing journey. I love it. I love it. I think this journey is actually more fun than the results for me.
What is the base morph that you would base your collection on if you were starting the ball pythons today?
I feel like that's so tough. I still think pies. And I say that because pies are the morph that on the street, everybody goes says, oh, wow. We have trained ourselves to know what's rare and what's expensive and what we like. But I will never forget, pies are the gateway drug for ball pythons. You see one, you're like, oh, wow, how's that possible? It looks so fake. And then you fall in love with all the other stuff. I'd go right back to pies, I think. For me, that's what it was. That's my first pie. I remember specifically where I was at, a Repticon, Atlanta, Cypress Creek Reptiles, had a pie on the table, and the rest is history. Here we are now today, 20 years later.
Well, this was a good talk, man. I love the elevated business evolution kind of stuff and the personal evolution of things. I'm certainly different person in the reptile hobby now at 52 than I was at 22, than I was at 32. Heck, than I was 10 years ago at 42. So I think we all have to grow and evolve in our own way. So it was great to catch up with you about that. And I would, be remiss if I did not say thank you for trusting your precious animals to Ship Your Reptiles.
Oh, it's a pleasure.
We had a question from the crowd. Why does the #1 ball python breeder in the game use Ship Your Reptiles?
Because of trust, honestly. It's trust. And all these years, that is #1 to me. I don't want to worry about, there's so many different things we have as far as overhead, be it the bedding or the rodents or the shipping or whatever. Those things that we can contract out, which we do breed our own rodents mostly. It's when you have an amazing collection, it comes down to trust. And I want to worry about other problems. Let you guys worry about the shipping.
I want to be your business partner so you can focus on doing the amazing things that you do. We'll take that headache away from you, and we'll do what we do at a very high level. And together we'll form this great partnership.
How long is it now? 10 years?
I think it was 12. It was 12, yeah.
From day one, pretty much. We signed on. It's been amazing. We appreciate
Thank you, sir. I appreciate it. Thanks for doing that.
I feel like there's been a huge importance to you taking care of your people. And I feel like this is why we've had the people sit down with you today and give you all the props and respect. But I mean, how important is the relationship to you feel like?
Now, I'm not sure if this is just who I am or the fact that, I play professional football. So I'm not trying to squeeze every dollar or penny out of anybody. And you are allowed to make a mistake as my customer. I don't want that to cost you. So I'm willing to comp a shipment. I'm willing to allow an insurance claim to go through, and I know my staff is going to kill me for saying this, that maybe doesn't meet all the criteria for that, because I want you to have a great experience by using my company. So I'm willing to bite the bullet and forego my own dollars so then you can be successful, so you can have a great experience.
The real OG is not just a gimmick. It's the real name behind what you have going on. So Chad Brown, thank you so much. Shout out to the entire Ship Your Reptiles team, Susie, AJ, Terry, all you guys. You guys are awesome. Sarah,
Jordan,
name them all.
All of the whole kit guy, the whole crew. Andrew, Jackie, Angel,
Sean.
the whole crew. Sean, yes.
Yeah, guys.
Craig, the whole crew. Absolutely.
Thank you, guys. Listen, enjoy your NARBC Tinley weekend. We got to shut things down. Get ready for US ARC. You don't want to miss it. Make sure you go to the US ARC auction. Have a good night, guys. We'll see you guys next time.
Peace.